Well, the Super Bowl finally hit this year, and with the Super Bowl, we got a bunch of cool movie trailers to talk about. And if you guys, for some reason, want my thoughts on the game itself, I'm not really a big football guy or a sports guy. So when I go to watch the Super Bowl, I ask for one thing: keep the game interesting, and this game was interesting. I did a video like this last year where instead of doing individual videos on all the trailers, I basically just compiled them all into one giant video. I like the format of that because it allows me to talk about some trailers that are only like 30 seconds long, and I only have brief thoughts on those trailers, so I can't really justify making a whole video on those. So I'm just going to talk about all the Super Bowl trailers that I feel are worth talking about in this one. And this isn't like the order that they were shown in or like release date order. There's really no order to this. I'm just going to kind of start rambling some off and tell you guys what I thought of them. Starting with The Fate of the Furious. Alright, so Fast and Furious, me, like a lot of other people, I didn't care about the franchise until Fast 5. After that, I really liked Fast 5. Fast 6 is probably one of my favorite action guilty pleasure movies. And then Fast 7 was a lot of fun as well, so I'm looking forward to Fast 8. But I recognize, like, this isn't Die Hard. This isn't RoboCop, it's not The Matrix, it's not Terminator 2. These aren't, like, serious action movies. They're shove popcorn in your face and have fun type of action movies. And this movie looks to have a lot of that shove popcorn in your face type of fun. I didn't think they could go any more ridiculous than skydiving with cars, but then they brought a submarine into the mix. I am kind of wondering how much of Dom are we actually going to see in this movie? Because, okay, I'm a big fan of The Rock. I would rather just have The Rock as the forefront of the movie, and it looks like he's actually going to be in the movie more than Vin Diesel is. But just how much of Dom are we going to see? Because I'm sure it's going to focus on Dwayne and the crew. And Jason Statham, who's teaming up with them. That's going to be cool. He was a really cool villain in 7. The Fast and Furious franchise as a whole hadn't really had any big villains until the Shaw brothers came into 6 and 7. But I like the fact that they're keeping Statham. It looks like Charlize Theron's going to be a cool villain as well. This movie's goal isn't that hard. It's just be fun. But there was also a couple movies last year where that was their only goal, like Independence Day Resurgence, and it wasn't able to do that. So I'm hoping Fate of the Furious could be more Fast 5, 6, and 7 and less Independence Day. Next up is Logan. Now, I still haven't seen that Logan trailer that debuted a couple weeks ago. I figured, okay, I'm already sold on the movie. I don't need to see more footage. The movie comes out in less than a month now. I figured I could just wait until then, but this trailer was really cool. They had Amazing Grace playing in the background. It's really just a super cut of a bunch of cool action montage scenes in the movie. I guess the girl in this movie is X-23, like people were wondering in the first trailer, is that X-23? And then I guess in this trailer, she's X-23. Maybe you saw that in the final trailer that I didn't watch. I don't know. This trailer did have some cool imagery though. You see that one guy who looks like one of the war boys from Mad Max flipping off like those grenades or whatever those were. What I like about these trailers is that this movie is Hugh Jackman's send-off, and this movie has such a sense of finality to it that you really do feel like this is the end of an era. I thought that the first trailer captured that well. I feel like this trailer captures that well. So if this movie lands, it's going to be a really cool, emotional, satisfying send-off to a beloved character that a lot of us grew up with. Unlike Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And yes, I put the Logan trailer and the Pirates trailer right next to each other in this video for obvious reasons. Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest. I grew up with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the original Pirates trilogy, like the first 3 movies. Around the times the sequels were coming out is when I like really got into it, and I was like, man, Pirates is so cool, Pirates is awesome. I went to the premiere of Outworld's End. Okay, not the premiere, but the Friday night showing at my movie theater in like full decked out Pirates uniform. But now I'll go back and rewatch the movies. The first one's good. I don't really have a ranking though. I'm not like, oh, second one's alright, third one was terrible. 2, 3, and 4, I'm all kind of just on. Like they have good moments, but they have a lot of crap moments as well. So I kind of stopped caring about the Pirates movies after a while, and this trailer kind of reminded me of why. But first of all, let's talk about that Logan comparison. So the Johnny Cash music in this trailer doesn't fit at all. I have heard this is supposed to be the final Pirates of the Caribbean movie, supposedly. So I think they're also going for that sense of finality, and they're like, hey, it worked for Logan, so it'll work for Pirates. No, it doesn't work for Pirates. Sorry, Disney. In this trailer, you see a little more of Javier Bardem's character, Captain Salazar, and the rest of his crew. I'm not really sold on the effects of Captain Salazar. I think he looks really hokey. And they were sneaking onto Barbossa's ship. Now, if my memory's correct, Barbossa was working for the British Navy in Pirates 4, but at the end of that, he was back as Old Barbossa. He was captain of the Black Pearl. Oh wait, no, he didn't have the Black Pearl, but they were looking for it. But point is, he was back in pirate attire. So why in this trailer is he back working for the British Navy? And then are we gonna see what happened to the Black Pearl? Because the movie ended with Jack and Gibbs going to look for the pearl. Or no, they had the pearl in the bottle and they were going to figure out how to crack it and get the pearl out. I believe this movie takes place a ways down the road, so maybe they've lost the Black Pearl again, but they've lost the Black Pearl like 3 or 4 times in these movies. Them not having the pearl felt old in 4. I don't want them to do that plot again. It'll be kind of interesting seeing Will again. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of Jack in this trailer, and there was none of him in the previous trailer, because in all 3 sequels, they really pushed Jack in the marketing. And in this one, they're not, so I'm curious as to why that is. Did they just realize we have Johnny Depp fatigue? Is that it? Are they trying to hide Johnny Depp? But he is your main character, essentially, so why hide him? You do see him for a little bit in this trailer, so it's not like they're doing the Luke Skywalker thing, where he only appears at the end of the movie. I thought some of the action scenes looked okay at best, but This thing has Through the Looking Glass written all over it, guys. Let's brighten up the mood a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So I have talked about the previous Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailers. I really like the tone they're going for with this movie. It looks very fun. The colors are also really vibrant. I really like the style of this movie. It also looks big. I mean, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie it's a big budget movie, but this one looks even bigger and more exciting than that one. I did like that sweet group shot of all the Guardians standing together at the end of the trailer, including Yondu and Mantis and the new people. I did like the joke at the end with Mantis and Drax, where Mantis gets knocked down, like 2 seconds later Drax goes, "Watch out!" Dave Bautista as Drax. I mean, he's not the greatest actor, obviously, but he's great for the character of Drax. The interesting thing with this movie is that first one was just such lightning in a bottle, but I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to recapture that lightning in a bottle, but I'm hoping for the best with this one. The trailers haven't really led me to think that this is going to be a disappointment, so bring it on. This looks cool. The next one up is Transformers: The Last Night. Quite frankly, I never saw Age of Extinction, and I don't know if I have to watch Age of Extinction before this one. I might do a Captain Ty's Movie Night episode on it, so I don't really know what's happening in these trailers. Anthony Hopkins is there. I know the plot involves something about Excalibur, something about Mark Wahlberg, something about Nazis. I noticed this trailer felt oddly somber though, like all the other Transformers movies, and usually they show Transformers trailers at the Super Bowl. Usually those ones, they're dark, but they also have a lot of fun to them, like a lot of really heavy-hitting action. This trailer did have some action in it, but the sound effects were muted, and it was a really somber, ominous type of music. I don't know, it just felt a little boring to me. And then this voiceover is going of this chick, and she's like telling Optimus Prime, if your world is failing, do you want a chance to redeem yourself? And then Optimus goes, "My maker. I do." Wait, my maker? But so she's from Cybertron? The voice sounded human. It didn't sound like a Transformer because their voices are, you know, slightly more metallic sounding. They'll tweak it with some vocal effects and stuff in post-production. And then, of course, Optimus Prime goes bad. We saw that in the last trailer. I mean, I guess I'll go see Transformers 5. The thing with these Transformers movies is they need to realize what they are. These movies cannot be 3-hour epics like Michael Bay is trying to make them. Make this into Fast and Furious. Make it a really dumb popcorn movie. Go about 2 hours and 10 minutes, no more than that, and then you can keep it fun. When your movies are bordering 3 hours and they're just terrible, I don't want to go see that. I have many other things I could spend 3 hours of my life doing. So Transformers, I mean, it looks alright, but so have all the other Transformers movies. Let's be real here. Another trailer where I don't really know what's happening, The Ghost in the Shell. This trailer is like the reason that I do these Super Bowl compilation videos, so I can talk about little blip commercials like this. Because I think this movie looks cool visually, like it's got this cool Blade Runner or like Pacific Rim kind of style to it. Very visually interesting, very stylized. However, I know nothing about Ghost in the Shell. I don't watch anime, guys. The closest I get to anime is Avatar: The Last Airbender and like the occasional episode of Pokemon on Netflix. All I know plot-wise about this movie is that Scarlett Johansson is a cyborg, so that looks kind of cool. This movie could come out, it could totally butcher the lore of Ghost in the Shell, it could have all the fans just up in arms completely enraged about this movie, but I don't really know anything about the lore, so if the movie's entertaining at least, I guess I'll have fun with it. Just don't suck. Just don't pull a Last Airbender on me, Ghost in the Shell. Just be entertaining, if nothing else. And the last movie trailer I want to talk about is Baywatch. Funny enough, this trailer didn't really show us a lot of new footage. It showed us a lot of jokes we've already seen, which I actually kind of like, especially for a comedy, because you don't want to show all your jokes in the trailer. A lot of comedies do that, and then you go into the movie, and then you leave disappointed because you're like, well, I could have seen all that at home for free. Although I did like that new joke at the end with Zac Efron and The Rock when they're going to work, and then Zac Efron rips off his pants. He's got this American flag Speedo. The Rock's all, "What are you wearing?" And then Zac Efron goes, "Freedom." That was funny. I liked that joke. What's interesting is usually, I mean, this movie kind of has like a 21 Jump Street kind of vibe, but with movies like that, you usually put a comedic actor like a Jonah Hill and with a non-comedic actor like a Channing Tatum. But in this movie, you have The Rock and you have Zac Efron, and neither one is really a comedic actor. So I'm hoping the jokes land and they're not awkward. From what I've seen from the trailers, it looks like the jokes are gonna land. I can tell you this, and Pirates 5 are coming out in the same weekend, I'm gonna see Baywatch first. 2007 Ty would be slapping me in the face right now, but the trailers for Baywatch look better than the trailers for Pirates 5. So that's all the movie trailers. However, one more thing to talk about. Let's get a little bit dark, a little bit twisted here. Let's talk about the trailer for Stranger Things Season 2. I, along with a lot of other people around the world, fell in love with Stranger Things over the summer. We've learned little snippets about Season 2 leading up to this, but this was our first full-fledged trailer, and it looks really cool. The trailer didn't show much. It's keeping it mysterious. We do know it looks like the Upside Down is striking into the real world more. Like, the creatures in the Upside Down did come into the real world every once in a while, like when Jonathan and Nancy were fighting it, but it looks like the Upside Down is coming to warp the real world into its own upside down, evil, twisted world. I've got a lot of questions like, where's Eleven? Is Eleven even coming back? My biggest question is, what's Hopper's deal? Because, you know, at the end of Season 1, he made that deal with the lab dudes, got in that mysterious car and drove away with the lab dudes, and then he put some Eggo waffles in a little tin in the forest, hinting that maybe Eleven's alive and maybe Hopper's looking after Eleven. But I am excited that this season is taking place a year after the last season, because this is 1984. It's the end of the year 2. Do you know how many movies came out in 1984? This is just a quick short list I made, but in 1984 alone, we got Footloose, Footloose, This Is Spinal Tap, Romancing the Stone, 16 Candles, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, The Karate Kid, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Beverly Hills Cop. Now, I'm not entirely sure how many of those movies the kids in the show are gonna have seen. Maybe those kids snuck into Terminator. We did see them in the Ghostbusters costume, so that was cool. Plus, this season's got Sean Astin and Paul Reiser. That just immediately boosts the 80s cred here. So Stranger Things Season 2, I will see you on Halloween. And here we are, we're at the end of the video. Time flies when you're filming. So let me know what your favorite trailer from this Super Bowl was. Mine was probably Stranger Things, actually. Of the movies, it was probably Guardians, but overall, Stranger Things. Oh, and I like Christopher Walken singing Bye Bye Bye. That was great. I don't want to make it tough, because I had enough. Yeah, I'm gonna spare you guys from any more of that impression. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, click subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.